Okay, I thought I'd discuss something. So I already talked about it and a little bit about my backstory, but I wasn't able to finish communicating my all my thoughts. So I watched something. This lady online, she was talking about, can you live within your own means? Oh, it's July 1st, 2024. She was saying, can you live within your own means? Uh, as somebody who is low income. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, we'll call it, you know, maybe 36,000 a year or less. Um, and especially in situations where you've got your bills, you've got somehow money or the ability to cover your major bills, but nothing else for fun money, vacations, socializing, nothing else. Um, and like a situation where even the basics might be very tight. This is not funny. I was going to say funny enough, but it's uh, it's just kind of satirical, I guess, how life turns out. So I've been noticing today. I logged into this social media thing for my area, and I found more than one individual. Literally, and this is a kind of area where folks don't talk about money issues. Well, lots of issues, but especially when it comes to money. And so to hear somebody struggling, like for many years, I would never hear anybody talk about or admit that they're going through that. And so I saw two individuals, they were saying that, you know, they're in need, but they're always, I don't know, it's crazy to me. I think, like, even when it's obvious things are difficult, I think it's a very middle class thing that, even if you essentially admit all this, you never just flat out directly ask for what you need. Like, most folks just don't do that. Instead, they have to create this, like, exaggerated story and fluff and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, we can already tell what's going on. Um, but there's still this, I think a lot of middle class folks just feel the need to, um, if they have to ask for assistance, to, make it seem like it's not that bad and offer a service or something like that, where it's like, they want to tell a different story than the reality. Like, for instance, this one lady was saying, things are tight and she doesn't want to ask for donations or gifts or anything. She said, I won't take them, but she's going to do this raffle thing. And she has like a few kind of designer handbags. And so she's just going to, you know, give them out. I didn't really understand because obviously she already has the handbag. So, she didn't really state it, but I just don't understand how she's going to get money from, because she said she's not going to sell the handbags directly. She's just going to, I don't know. It didn't really make sense how it's all going to work. And it just seemed very like, what the heck are you doing? Why are you building this nonsense story? But yeah, unfortunately, it's becoming a little bit common, more common than it used to be for sure, where folks are admitting and asking for, they're admitting their, financial troubles and asking for assistance. So, maybe I'll have time to go into my background, but if I do, I usually continue. I guess I'll do a quick summary and then focus on the question that I mentioned. So, question is, can you live within your means if you're low income? I defined what that is. So let's say about 36,000 a year. And once your bills and everything are taken care of, there's no extra money. So really, to summarize, I know, I've dealt with this firsthand in my own life. I went from not working for years, I was a student, and then later on, uh, I did enter the workforce more consistently. So in the beginning, I was able to save quite, not, I should have saved more, quite frankly, but I was able to save some money, have savings and stuff like that. Not a whole lot, to be honest, because so how did I do that? I had free housing and utilities and stuff. Why? Because I lived with family, and they were kind enough, not really kind, but they let me live with them. Although there was constant discussion of, oh, I have to leave, I can't live with you, kind of thing. And so, I would get screamed at in the evenings at times and mornings. Like that was my good morning and good night. So it was a hectic environment at times. Um, but yeah, and so, I was able to save, but, it was kind of, even looking back, I still don't quite understand why I didn't save. Like, I thought that, okay, now looking back, I would assume that I could have saved much more, but that's the thing, is individuals just think, hey, if your housing is free, then you have all this money you can save. Not necessarily true, because I learned there's many bills, and it costs money to live, just to literally stay alive. Not to mention, when you have these low wage jobs, they're relatively quite costly, you know, relative to other jobs out there, that because a lot of these low wage jobs, like most of my jobs, you had to wear a uniform. They did not give you the clothes. So, in the beginning, you have to get to the work, and then it takes at least 2 weeks. I think one of my jobs, it took me a month before I got my first check. Uh, so, meanwhile, throughout that whole time, you have to cover the cost of clothes. You have to be able to clean your uniform. They're very strict when it comes to, like any odor that comes from you, or, dirtiness. You can't have, like, basically any stains. You have to look very well. Um, you have to look like you can be trusted, and you have to look decent and all that kind of stuff. And that's very true if you're a female. Uh, I learned over time that there's a lot of things that cost us money in order for us to be, I mean, even on a minimal level, in order for us to be tolerated and welcomed in society and the workforce. So many things. And so that's not free. You know, like for me, I didn't have to worry about the water bill necessarily, but, you know, you have to be able to shower somehow. I guess you can do that at a gym, but that might be too much of a hassle. Um, what other costs? There's, cost of food. And when I say clothes, you have to think everything. Like, I didn't realize how many clothes I needed over time. So, like, there's some circumstances where you can't do laundry every day. You have to wait a week, 2 weeks until your machine is, fully loaded, so that you don't waste a lot of electricity and water, which, costs money. So, that was my situation. So then over time, I realized, wow, I need quite a bit of outfits and, undergarments and everything else. So you have to include everything, your socks, your undergarments, your shoes, um, other things you use on your body if you're a female, fragrance, beauty stuff, hair stuff, I mean, there's like hair accessories, there's the brushes, there's all the stuff, you know, you um, kind of let your hair sit in, all the treatments and stuff like that. Um, you know, if you do your own nails and stuff, there's that. I guess that falls into beauty. There's all this stuff. You know, there might be towels, like bath care, body care, that kind of stuff. Um, you know, there's kitchen items. Like, eventually, I think for the last year or two, I've contributed. I'm the one who buys basically the majority of the trash bags.